The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job. Do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
So what if I told you that a U.S. president finally had the guts to propose a real solution for Gaza? One that prioritizes Israel's security, eliminates the terror infrastructure, and actually improves life for Palestinians by moving them out of a literal war zone. It's exactly what President Trump has put on the table. And of course, the left-wing globalist elites and weak Arab leaders are panicking.
To turn Gaza into what he called the Riviera of the Middle East really sent, you could say, shockwaves through the press corps in the White House. All of us frantically checking the transcript, searching for other sources, also trying to talk to colleagues to see if we understood him correctly, because President Trump's new plan to, as he said, take over, and that is a direct quote, the Gaza Strip is not only illegal under international law, we're talking about forced displacement of hundreds of thousands of people.
And on this episode, I'm breaking down Trump's plan to relocate Palestinians out of Gaza and have the U.S. take control of the Strip. This is a radical shift in policy, one that could finally put an end to Hamas's reign of terror, strengthen Israel's security, and neutralize one of the biggest geopolitical threats in the region. Aval bo nekach et ze beretzinut, like we say in Hebrew. Let's be real. Arab leaders aren't rejecting this plan because they actually care about the Palestinians. None of them do. They're rejecting it because they've been using them as pawns in their endless war against Israel for decades. So let me talk about Trump's recent plan that he just put out. Step 1, relocating the Palestinians out of Gaza. Trump is talking about moving them into neighboring countries like Egypt and Jordan. And before anyone loses their minds, let's get something straight. This isn't some radical concept. Every other Arab nation has refused to take in Palestinian refugees for decades. Ask yourself why? Because they don't want them. They've intentionally left them in a state of permanent statelessness to continue to fuel the war against the only Jewish state. So now Trump comes in and says, fine, we're going to solve this thing once and for all. We remove the human shield that Hamas hides behind. We shut down their ability to rebuild their terror infrastructure. And for the first time in history, we actually force Arab leaders to take responsibility for the people they claim to care about. Then let's look at step 2. U.S. takes over Gaza. Trump just put it out. No more Hamas, no more rockets, no more terrorist operations. The U.S. rebuilds it, secures it, and makes sure it never again becomes a launch pad for terrorism. But I want to say this, and I want to be really clear. This isn't some peacekeeping mission. This is a full-scale elimination of Hamas, followed by a complete overhaul of the region. Now let's talk tactics, because that's what we do here on the Aaron Cohen Show. If this is going to happen, it's going to require a serious military operation. First, we're talking about the total eradication of Hamas. No more half measures, no more ceasefires, no more regrouping, no more weakness. We're talking about full force, special operations raids, back to precision airstrikes, and covert Israeli intelligence pinpointing every single remaining Hamas fighter and every new one that's just been recruited because of Biden. This is about completely wiping Hamas off the map. 2, Israeli coordination is going to be a big piece of this, and the IDF will likely continue with their ongoing combat operations, except with fresh U.S. supplies and munitions, same one Trump's already starting to send over. And Israel's got the intelligence, they've got the operational capability, they've got the most experience with urban warfare against terrorists who use civilians in those tunnels. And IDF combat units will be instrumental in cleaning out the remnants of Hamas leadership before a permanent U.S. presence is established. Then the U.S. would move in. We're talking Marine Corps, special operations, boots on the ground, securing key infrastructure, layering that up, making sure that every tunnel, every weapons cache, every last bit of Hamas's terror network, secured. Done. 0. The Aaron Cohen Show is sponsored by the Cherries Deep Concealment Holster. This is the same holster I trained Keanu on for the John Wick franchise. This thing runs BWB, or below the waistband, means there is 0 digging into your gut, and this holster will never fall off you because it runs below the waistband. Also, lightning fast draw with just a little bit of training. Hit the link down in the description to order one of these bad boys. They ship next day. 0 lead time with these things now. They ship next day. Lightning fast draw. Fits all double stacked 9 and 40 Glocks. Fully adjustable clip and ambidextrous lefties. You're covered. Hit the link down in the description. Grab one of these bad boys. And finally, carry with comfort and total concealment. And here's where it gets real. Once the Palestinians are relocated into Egypt and Jordan, or any other countries willing to absorb them, then it's game on. Anyone who refuses to leave is Hamas. No more gray areas. No more innocent civilian shields. The battlefield is clean. And if you stay in Gaza, you're a terrorist or you're a terrorist sympathizer. And if you refuse to evacuate, it's because you chose to stand with Hamas. And that means no more hiding behind women and children. No more launching rockets from mosques and hospitals. The game is over. You get killed. It's done. You're eliminated. Now comes the real operation. Targeted, strategic, full force elimination of every last Hamas member. I'm talking about the drones continuing up in the skies. IDF commandos from the different infantry battalions. Nachal Givati, Tzan Chanim. You've got Duv Devan, the commando brigade, Goz, Sheet Shalosh Esrei. All these units systematically securing and wiping off all the remnants of terror and all those elements from the strip for good. And once that's done, we establish that U.S. control. Gaza doesn't become a terrorist breeding ground ever again. Kills the smuggling, kills the Iranian influence. No more of this garbage BS humanitarian aid. UNRWA's gone, by the way. And no more weapons stockpiles getting funneled through UNRWA now that Trump's pulled the plug on those idiots. So this one here isn't just about wiping out Hamas, so keep in mind. This is about Trump's America reshaping the entire geopolitical structure of the Middle East. This one here is a monster. Now, I want to talk about what this means for Israel and the U.S. moving forward. Because after this, the entire region is going to start to look very, very different. And with Trump's latest Gaza proposal, the U.S. effectively gets a safe land and naval base in the most critical region in the world. No longer will America have to negotiate with terrorist sponsor Qatar for base rights or worry about troops being attacked in Iraq and Syria. And Bibi just gave Trump what every American administration has dreamed of, a land-based U.S. power projection ability in the Middle East that doesn't come at the expense of another country. So think about the game-changing power shift here. U.S. forces stationed in Gaza would be untouchable. No more risk of Iranian-backed militias attacking U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria. No more worrying about instability in the Gulf. And so here's the bottom line. This isn't just a military win. This is a full-blown geopolitical reset. Now, I want to talk about the media. the left-wing globalist deep state media. The mainstream media is already panicking over this plan. X is blowing up. They don't want this to happen because it exposes their lies. But hey, coming from the shadow world and in the counter-terror world in Israel, it's one of my favorite things to expose. But suddenly, Israel isn't the bad guy. The Palestinians aren't victims, and Hamas isn't a resistance group anymore. They're exposed as the terrorists that they are. In the Arab League, Egypt, Jordan, they're all pretending to be outraged. But why? Because they've been making billions off this conflict. And if the Palestinians get relocated, if Hamas is gone, and they lose one of their biggest tools for attacking Israel. This is why the globalist left deep state hates Trump, because he doesn't play by the rules. He's just trying to fix the great corporation of America. And he doesn't take orders from the UN or the EU or any of these weak leaders who spend decades trying to weaken Israel's position, like Biden has for the last 14 months before he was gone. And Trump's plan forces the world to deal with reality. Now, I want to close with this. This is bigger than Gaza. This is a once-in-a-generation geopolitical shift. And I've been in this space for over 20 years in the counterterrorism world. And Trump's plan means Israel is stronger. America's back in control. Iran is on its knees, and the globalists and the left-wing deep state are losing their grip as we speak. The question isn't, should the U.S. take Gaza? The real question is, why hasn't this been done sooner? Now I want to hear from you. Do me a favor, drop a comment below. Do you think the U.S. should take over Gaza? Do you think Trump's plan is the right move? Do me a favor and make sure to subscribe to the Aaron Cohen Show so you don't miss real, unfiltered, no-nonsense analysis like this here. I'm just getting started, so stay locked in with me. More big things to come here. And do me a favor, if you're a fan of the show, hit the link down in the description and join my Season 1 sponsorship team. We're completely independently produced and supported by you, the fans. Hit the link down in the description. Grab yourself a mini sponsorship package. They start at $25. Helps keep the lights on in the studio. Or buy one of my incredible deep concealment holsters. Same holster I trained Keanu on for the John Wick franchise. Join the mission. Grab a mini sponsorship package. And let's keep combating this garbage anti-Israel and anti-Trump disinformation together. It's all good. The left-wing legacy media can't keep up with me and can't keep up with Trump. There's too many stories breaking. They're collapsing right now, and all their media garbage propaganda outlets are folding because Trump is moving so quickly, and his allies like me are getting it out quick. So if you're a fan of the show, please join us. Grab a mini sponsorship package. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to come back to this one as this story continues to develop. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching The Aaron Cohen Show, and I will see you guys soon on the next one.